be afraid to ask me questions along the way. Okay. I'm mostly talking to the camera, but I'll also be talking to you. Okay. And me and Keenan kind of go back and forth too. So don't be afraid to talk or, you know. Again. Okay? Okay. Also, I have aprons. Are you afraid about getting paint on your clothes?
I'm not.
Okay. No? Perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
Should I be afraid of getting paint?
I just was wearing a white, very clean white shirt, so that's why I chose to put on an apron.
Become artistic.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, right. We should be live on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. I'm going to give this, we're going to trace our outline. So I'm just going to give you this piece of tape now. And I'll show you how to do that when we get there.
It's interesting, the live video is always in a different spot. It's either on our home or it's in our videos, but I can never find it. Ah, hello.
Okay.
Asheville, North Carolina, Oregon, Hotlanta.
Hotlanta. It's definitely hot here. And where are you guys from?
Utah.
Utah. What part?
Santa Quinn.
Oh.
South of Provo.
Oh, okay.
South of Provo.
Okay.
Santa Quinn?
Santa Quinn.
I think I have an uncle that lives there.
Oh.
Gary Hoyle. I don't know.
Hoyle.
Yeah.
We haven't met him, but it's a growing town. It's
that makes sense.
Our ward gets,
we moved there a couple of years ago.
Gets 2 or 3 new families every week.
Cool.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, got a little fly.
Or something.
Yeah, something.
Rancho Cucamonga.
Sue asked if there's sloths on my apron, and yes, they're little sloths. My mom made this for me for my birthday because I really love sloths. So she saw this fabric and bought it for me.
That is a good apron.
Unique.
Thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
it is. Floral sloth fabric. Definitely unique.
Darley says, I bought paint and brushes in your shop last Tuesday.
Oh, great.
That is great.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to our shop and supporting us.
Yes. Hello, Canada.
Sorry, we have these little...
Is that part of the class?
Yes, I just do this. It's
Then you
fine.
just go, It's a new style.
Okay, what time are we at? We gotta be
We
close.
are at 7:14.
Okay, in 1 minute we'll start.
It's probably less than a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Got brushes, you got water. I think we have everything.
7:15.
All right, let's go for it.
All right.
All right, welcome everybody to Let's Make Art. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our fabulous paint along. I am Sarah Cray. We have Keenan, he's working the cameras, and that's who you will hear talking, and I look at him fairly frequently.
Yes, and I'm just back here talking as well.
Yes.
Occasionally.
And we have 2 wonderful guests with us today. We have Worthy and we have Gail, and they are painting the bicycle with us, so we're super excited to have them. And this is what we're painting tonight. Ooh. Ah. So there's an outline with this project. You can get it on our website for free. Just go to letsmakeart.com, find the bicycle project, and click on the button that says download outline, and you can paint along with us. We are using 4 colors tonight, liquid watercolors. The 4 that we have are azure blue, honey brown, emerald green, and fuchsia. And I will draw a little bit out for you guys so you can see, because sometimes when they're all puddled up on your tray, you can't tell which color is what color.
Are you going to be using that? Okay, I wasn't sure if you were going to use which.
No, I'm going to use this one on the left. Is it in the screen?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, great.
Just the other one isn't.
We made a mistake here. Okay. Okay, so let me go over the steps and then we'll start tracing. Then we'll do our warm-ups. No, we'll do our oath and our warm-ups and then, okay. So the steps, we have 5 steps for this project. So the very first step, we are going to paint the body of the bike. The second step, we are going to do the wheels and the pedals. Third step, we're going to paint the handlebars, the seat, and the basket. So I'm just separating it by color. So first we're doing blue, then we're gonna do black and silver, then we'll do brown. Fourth step, we're gonna put our flowers in our basket. And the fifth step, we will do the lettering and the spokes on the wheels, just those last minute details. So to trace your bicycle, you get your outline, and then I want you to tape your outline to your watercolor paper. So I'm just going to use painter's tape. You can also use washi tape. You probably just don't want to do like regular tape because it might tear your paper. So get some sort of softer tape. And then you are going to take your graphite paper. Here's your sheet here, and here's yours. And there's 2 sides to it. So there's a dark side and there's a lighter side. You want to do dark side down. And then wherever you make a mark, it transfers onto your watercolor paper. So I gave us pencils, but you can use pens, you can use the back of your paintbrush, just any kind of pressure will leave a mark. So what I like to do is after I have my graphite paper, I will start and then I will take a peek and see how dark that line is. Now with watercolor, it's transparent, so you don't want your outline to be super, super dark because then the paint will show through it. So what you can do is just like trace really lightly if you're noticing that your line is just too dark. Yeah, so just like test it, and if you do a line and you lift up your paper and you're like, oh, I can't see that very well, then you know to press harder. If it's way too dark, like black, then you are going to want to trace a little bit lighter. And then once you got a good idea, you can just go for it. Now I would like to mention that we have circles for our wheels. And even when we're tracing, it's really hard to get the wheels like perfectly circled. So just be kind to yourself. My wheels, even in the outline, are a little bit wonky because it's hard to paint perfect circles.
It's a classic bike. It's seen some miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it probably, maybe it's in the middle of being repaired.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not super familiar with bike wheels. Maybe they do have a little bit of wonkiness to them. You know,
sure they
just
do.
a little.
Maybe been hit by things.
Maybe, maybe if they've been in a wreck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was a bike that I had in my youth. My dad, I think, got it from a job site. It was a Schwinn, really nice. It was a road bike, so that means it had like real thin tires. And one of my friends at the time was like, oh, I'm gonna go for a ride on your bike. I was like, perfect. Well, he decided to go as fast as he possibly could around the Kidder Park. And one of the corners, they had just added a rock, like a small boulder. And he didn't quite make the turn, and he smashed right into the boulder. He hit so hard, not joking, he was probably going about 30 miles an hour. He bent the frame of the bike.
No!
He flew several feet.
Was he okay?
He was fine.
Were you
but the bike,
so mad?
Well, it was free, so I wasn't super mad. I was just like, well, I guess I won't ride any more bikes.
Well, that good thing is gone.
Yes.
Oh.
Someone said it would be cute if a sloth was riding the bike.
That would be cute. We have seen some fun different versions in the group. I saw a cute one where a cat was the one riding the bike. And there's just different versions, so it's pretty fun. This is a really easy project that you can customize to add whatever you want to add. Also, if you guys missed the earlier announcement, I think we did at the end of last week. We're not going to do lives like this anymore, so we're going to finish off the month of September for our lives, so there will be one next Tuesday, and then we're going to do the cat, so the very last project in the box. That live is going to take place Friday night, and that's going to be our last night that we do lives in the evening like this. We'll still continue to do lives, they'll just maybe be a little bit shorter and have different content. So just giving you guys, I'll keep repeating that message, but just a little reminder, this is one of our last little paint nights before we move on to our different model.
And then what will you be doing?
So we'll just do them during the day while we're at work, and it'll be more like me giving tips about like maybe some problems they run into or close-ups on different parts of the project to help them complete it. So, and there was a question when I announced that if we would still release tutorials. So our Wednesday tutorials will still be released normally. So don't worry, we're not taking that away. It's just the Tuesday night paint-alongs are going to be moved throughout the week during the day with random things. I really just want to have Keenan host the live and just see what he does. That was my idea. And people loved it. So start
Really?
thinking, Keenan.
Oh no.
Just give me the camera and let you go live. I don't know
Wherever
what will
I
happen.
want.
Yeah.
Welcome to Let's Make Art.
Will you take them to Subway?
Yes, I will. A day in the life.
A day in the
Let's
life.
Make Art.
What do you want for lunch? Well, Subway.
Well, what else is there? There will still be a subscription box, Clara.
Yes. The only thing we're changing is we are retiring the evening lives, and a lot of that is because we want to give you some fun new content, and also because I am about 4.5 months pregnant, and I will be having a little baby soon, and I should probably be home Tuesday nights once I have a newborn, and probably
true.
a little bit before because I'm going to be tired towards the end.
Yeah.
Also, you guys had to have noticed when I was in the beginning really sick because my energy level was like,
Shot.
yeah.
Also, wellness level
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
awful as well.
But I'm finally out of that stage.
How will we find out when the live shows will be aired?
So we'll give you guys a heads up by either like sharing it on Facebook, kind of like how we did with the last one. If it's going to be like a bigger deal, like let's say once in a while we do decide to do a full paint along, we'll probably email you guys about it. So just keep an eye on us in terms of like social media, and the bigger stuff we'll email you about. But that's how we'll, and some of them we'll just do impromptu lives, but all of the lives that we do will stay up on our website. So even if you don't catch them while they're happening, you can absolutely still access them after the fact. So don't worry about that. Okay, I'm almost done on my tracing. Looks good.
A lot of people have said how they're going to miss the live videos.
I know. It's a really fun part to what we do, and I will miss hanging out and talking to you guys. But I think this will be good. And you can get to know our team better too, because there is more than just me and Keenan that work here.
That is true. I think we're up to 20 total Let's Make Art employees.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting.
Yeah, we're growing.
Our team is getting just better and better.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Nancy from Kansas City said hello. I think she was on our lettering live
Oh,
last week.
Nancy, hello. Megan asked, will you be doing different lives during the day at regular scheduled times or just random times? So Megan, those will be a little bit more random. We're not going to be saying like every Thursday at 1 p.m. we'll be live. We're not going to do that. They'll definitely be more random, but still with the intention of checking in with you guys at least once a week with a live. And we can do Q&As. A couple people have sent us requests. They want a tour of the store. Different things like that. So if you have ideas of different things you want or whatever, just send them our way. We would love to hear them. Okay.
Micah says, I am new. Is Keenan your husband?
No.
No.
No, Keenan and I are just work friends. My husband has been on the lives before and has also filmed them because he's also a videographer. You'll probably see more of him in the future.
Yep.
But no, and actually you've probably seen Keenan's wife works for Let's Make Art. She's one of our customer service people. She's awesome, and she's been on quite a few lives. Her name's Suzanne. So, nope.
Just a big friendship family over
Just a
here.
big friendship family.
Yeah.
It's how we do things. Okay. Yeah, Meredith said you're still going to do tutorials for the projects, right? Yes. To reiterate, we will still be releasing the tutorials every Wednesday. We will never not do tutorials. They're very important to our tutorial-based business. So we're going to keep going with those. Okay. So also, I traced the spokes on mine. Somebody asked if they need to trace the spokes. Yes, I traced mine. You don't have to.
Oh, and the letters. You trace those
I
too,
traced
right?
the letters too, but the lettering, if you like your lettering, you don't have to do my lettering. You can do your own. Or you don't even have to do lettering if you don't want a little quote at the bottom of yours.
Yeah.
Okay. So the two paintbrushes that we're using tonight are Princeton Heritage Series. We have 2 rounds, a round 6 and a round 2. I'm going to switch you. This is a round 2. Thank you. Those are our go-to brushes. We use them every single week. They're really fabulous brushes, and they last a long time. So if you're struggling with your paintings, like if you have hair, if your brush hair is falling out while you're painting, you need to get different paintbrushes. That's super frustrating. And it's not you, it's your paintbrushes. Yeah.
2 questions.
Yes.
1,
Yes.
how far in advance will the random lives be announced? 2, if I miss a live, will it be available to watch later on your channel?
The lives will be available to watch on Facebook. I don't know if we're going to post them on YouTube. I think it depends on what the live content is,
Because
depending
if
on.
we use this setup, it'll be on both.
Yeah.
And if we just do a live via a cell phone, wherever, depending on where we do the live, it'll just be Facebook.
Yeah. So that depends, and also it depends on how much time in advance. Again, we're going to go a little bit more loosey-goosey with these and just trying to not have to lock us into such a rigid schedule like how we did the Tuesday nights. I know it's easier for you guys. I understand that. But also just things are constantly changing over here, so we want to give us a little bit more room of when we would be available to go live. So we'll see. And also let us know, because all of this is an experiment. We're open to changing. We love your guys' feedback. So if we're not giving you enough notice and you're really bummed you can't tune in, well, let us know, and we'll work on that. So nothing is set in stone. We're always willing to, we're flexible. We're flexible here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside and we're going to do some warm-ups. So put your paper aside. There should be another paper underneath. And before we do the warm-ups, we are going to take an oath. So I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
And I promise to have fun.
Thank you. And I like to start that way because, gosh, when you're trying something new, do you compare yourself and do you think that you're bad at this because you're new to it? And that's just not a fair way to look at things, because
I'm already doing it.
yeah, and you just automatically do it. I do it too. But I have been painting for years and years and years. It's not fair for you to compare your work to mine if you're brand new to it. So watercolor is not a magical skill that you are born with from birth. It is something that takes practice, and with practice you will improve. And if this is a passion of yours, you'll just get better over time. That's just how it works. So I don't want you guys feeling like you can't do this just because your first try isn't as successful as you want it to be, because that's just not fair to you.
I'd also like to caveat on that.
Yeah.
My first time trying to paint was awful. The next day I came back and looked at it. I was like, oh, whose is this? This isn't that bad. And it was mine.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
if you take some time off, let the eyes relax.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Also, my paintings always look better from farther away. It's just how it
They
is.
look great from my house, is what I always say. Can't see.
It's like a 20-minute drive. Your painting looks great from here. Okay, so Warm-ups are a great way just to get used to our paint and our water and our paintbrushes. So the first thing that I want you guys to practice is a value change. Value is all about the lightness and darkness of a color. It doesn't have to do with the color itself. So to get a darker value with watercolor, you want to have your paintbrush full of paint and have more paint than water. And then to get a lighter color in watercolor, all you have to do is add water. And that is why watercolor is so amazing, because you don't have to add white paint. You just add water to it. So get your paintbrush wet, and then I want you to hit it off the side of your cup so it's not dripping. After you do that a couple of times, grab some color, any color, we're just doing warm-ups, and fill up the belly of your brush. So just make sure you're picking up, and just do you can just do a swatch, you could do a circle, you can do a rectangle, just any shape, just to get used to the feel of this and also how dark this is. Very nice. And then what I want you to do, without picking up any more paint, I want you to dip your brush a couple of times, hit it off the side of the cup, and just paint with that. And this is going to be a lighter value. And I just want you to keep kind of repeating that until you can see how light you can go. Each time you do it, it should be getting a little bit lighter until that color is barely there. So if people are familiar with painting in general, but maybe not watercolor, you're not used to going this light. But I'm telling you, it's extremely important to have a light and a medium and dark whenever you're trying to create form. Value is how you create form on anything. Now, what's fun about this bike project is it's a little bit more illustrative. We're not focusing too much on making it look super realistic. So the values don't matter as much, but this is just great knowledge to know in general. The next thing that we're going to practice is thin lines. So I want you to switch to your smaller paintbrush. And when I do thin lines, so you get your paintbrush wet, you hit it off the side of your cup so it's not dripping. I pick up a little bit, and this is really important for the spokes on the wheels. So pick up some paint, and when you do thin lines, you're going to want to do a vertical hold, because then you're just on the tip of your brush, and you want to do light pressure. So this is me barely pressing down, and I can get a thin line. Now when I press down hard, I'm going to get a thicker line. And I would just like to say that being able to paint light pressure is hard and does take practice. So if you need to do it a few times, that is totally okay. I just want you to realize that this is something that just takes a little bit of getting used to. Now, if you want your lines to be longer, what I like to do is I don't like to rest my wrist and then paint my lines. When I rest my wrist, I'm very limited in how far my thin lines can go, because it just depends on how far my wrist can move. That limits me. But if I keep the weight off of my wrist and I move with my shoulder, then I can go as long as I need to go. Now with our spokes, we're not going super far. So if you only can do it by planting your wrist, that's not a big deal for this project. But just for future paintings that you do by yourself and you want long, thin lines, you want to try keeping the weight off of your wrist. It can still touch the paper. It can graze the paper. You just don't want to like plant your wrist. Very nice. Yes, that's right. You did it. Beautiful. Nice thin lines.
She's good with the positive reinforcement.
That's what we're all about.
That is what we're all about.
We like to be positive all the time.
Okay, now the last thing, I'm just going to go over how to do a couple flowers and leaves, since we're doing flowers and leaves in our basket. Now, I would like to say that you absolutely have creative freedom to do whatever you want inside of your basket. Maybe you just want it to be empty. That's fine. Just continue your handlebars down to your basket. No big deal. You can do pumpkins in it. You can do whatever you want. But I did flowers and leaves. And so I'm going to use my round 2 for this. And Keenan, can we get the close-up camera on this? Because I'm going to work a little bit smaller.
Yes. Give me a spot where you're going to work, and I'll let you know if it works, and if it doesn't, I'll move it.
I'll work here. Tell me if I need to move, because I got a clean sheet.
A little lower to the left.
Here?
Perfect.
Okay. So 4 leaves, what I like to do is I like my leaves to be thin at the top, so they go to a point and then they widen, and then they go to a point at the bottom, and then I just fill it in. After I do my first leaf, I'll do my stem. My stems I try and make thin, so try and practice those thin lines that we just did. And then you do leaves off of there. Now there are a ton of different kinds of leaves with different shapes and different thicknesses. So if you want to choose a specific one, please feel free to, or you can do whatever you want and just be like, I'm sure that exists in nature, and I'm sure you're right. Now this is a little bit big. The one on our actual painting is probably going to be more like this little guy. So try doing smaller ones too.
How would you do a small Yorkie face to put in the basket?
A small what?
Yorkie.
Did somebody ask me that? I cannot show you how to do that quickly. I'm sorry. But when you're trying to do, first of all, I just want to say that trying to paint small things is difficult. It's much harder to paint small than it is to paint big because you have very little room to do detail. So what you want to do when you're painting small is just do distinguishing features. A really strong distinguishing feature with Yorkies is their coloring. They usually have those golden brown ears and those gray faces. So that's all I can say to you, and then good luck.
I'm not sure why. I wish I could have the same problem, but some people are having problems with the comments on Facebook.
Like they're not...
They aren't showing up at all. So I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I saw that a couple of, the last couple of weeks.
I just went in, I'm on a computer to monitor YouTube. I went on to Facebook and I went to not our watercolor group, but our watercolor page.
Yeah, our business page.
Our business page. And I went right to the videos, and there was a live, and I clicked right on it, and comments are working.
Comments are working?
Yeah.
Try swiping. I know on my phone sometimes if I swipe away, the comments will disappear, and then I have to swipe left to bring them back. I don't know if that's the same on the computer.
It's not.
Very nice. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Now I'm going to practice some. Oh, Sandra says they have their comments turned off. Sandra, do you know how to turn the comments back on? Try clicking buttons around the video to see if you see a turn, like commenting turn off or on from the computer side. Okay. Swipe left. That's what Caroline said. Okay. Now I'm going to do some flowers. So my roses, I'm going to keep it pretty simple, and I'm just going to do a swirl because roses are super tight in the middle and then they kind of bloom out. And since these are small and more illustrative, we can just do a basic shape and it will kind of show that. So for my small roses, I'm just going to do a little dot and then I'm just going to swirl out just like that. There's a little rose. And sometimes that's all we need to do to give our viewer enough information to know what's going on. So I usually do a grouping of those. Sandra says she has an icon in her upper right. Did you
If you
find
hover on the actual picture of the video, on Sarah's right forearm, there's a button that says click to hide comments and reactions.
Oh.
If you click on it, you'll lose it. All the comments will go away.
Okay.
If the comments are gone, the same button is there and you can click it and it will show all the comments.
Cool. Thanks, Keenan.
No problem. Can we get a close-up of a rose?
Yes, we can.
Close-up ready.
So another flower that I did in my basket is I just did a little kind of lavender stems poking out. So those are essentially just like kind of purple dots that go to a point at the top, just like that. So you can do a couple of those and then do a green stem coming from them. Can they see that? Gosh, that's pretty tiny.
I can zoom in.
Yeah, why don't we zoom in just a tad? Oh, yeah.
My legs are really sore.
Yeah, I'll do roses again, Amy. She's like, could you do a close-up of the rose? Sarah's hand was in the way. Sorry, my bad.
I zoomed in very far.
Okay, great. I'll look and see where it's at. Then that's where I'll move my paper.
Same spot.
Okay, cool. So, roses, I'm just doing a little swirl. So dot in the middle, and then a swirl coming around it. There's a lot of different other ways that you can paint roses, but I just figured since these are so tiny, we can get away with doing these little swirlies.
How did you get your lavender? You did the red.
Yeah, so the lavender, I mixed together my pink and my blue to get this pretty kind of purpley color. And then I just did dots, and then lavender is a little bit whiter on the bottom, and then it kind of narrows in at the top. So just as long as it almost has that little triangular shape, and then long thin stems. Now, another thing that I like to do when I'm doing like a bunch of flowers is sometimes I don't do specific flowers in general. I'll just do like this. Like if I just do kind of rounded shapes with my paint, and then I just go in with water and kind of mess them up, then that kind of gives me the illusion of like a bunch of little flowers put together, because sometimes when there's a bunch of little things put together, it's not clear what's going on. So I'll do that again. And it's just kind of like these curves, just rounded shapes. And again, they're not detailed. You can't really tell what they are. They're just little curves. And then I take my paintbrush that has just water on it and smear them around. And then when we put that in the basket, that is what's going on right here. So it's just a little trick you can do. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're ready to paint. Now, you can keep your warm-up sheet near you if you wanted to test colors or brush strokes or anything before you put it on your painting. But I think we're ready to go for it. So grab back your outline, and the first step that we are going to do is we are going to paint the body of our bike. You can use either paintbrush around 6 or around 2. I'm going to use my round 6, but if you feel more comfortable using your round 2, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm just going to do blue. You can change the color if you don't like blue. But I'm just going to grab some blue paint, and I'm just going to start by filling in the body. Now what I like to do just to get some value difference is I like to paint and put the color down, and then I will pick up a little bit of water and just spread that color before I go in and grab any more paint. The thing I want you guys to keep in mind with watercolor is you have to view water as part of a paint medium itself. You have to view it as paint. If you view it as only as a way to rinse your brush, like you would for acrylic, then you're not going to get any value differentiation in your painting. Again, this one, that's not a huge deal, but when we do like the, when we do our rustic doorway next week, which is our next project, it's really important to be able to get that value range. Do you want to put this on the close-up?
I just did.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's just a little delayed. But don't move it again.
Okay.
Watch your
Oh yeah, I really need to watch my head. Here, and I'll put this reference photo maybe angled, if that will help you guys see it.
I don't think that's going to help see it.
Okay.
If you put it under the tires.
Oh, I meant for them.
Oh, for the, oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And when we do overhead, the people on the video should be able to see it. Very nice. Beautiful. Also, this is a fairly quick project. So if you guys are just tuning in, this is going to go pretty quick. Once we put our body in, it's like wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. We're done.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to make a screen recording of how to make the comments available and unavailable on Facebook,
Okay.
and maybe share it.
Okay.
I feel like that might be helpful for someone.
Yeah. Or what if you made a screen recording? Can you comment with the video? Can you put it in the comments?
I don't think so, but I can try.
Oh, I think you're right, actually. I think you can only post pictures.
So let's change this to screen recording.
And don't forget the little part that's above the wheels too. And I can see from my tracing that my lines got a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to straighten those out as I'm painting them. Oh, I will say there's talk going on about like the live tutorials and stuff like that. I will say that with our pre-recorded tutorials, we will be adding a couple of elements because like during our lives, we do warm-ups and I don't do those in the pre-recorded, but I will start doing warm-ups in the pre-recorded. So they will be a little bit longer, but I think that the warm-ups and going over the different techniques that I'm using for the project are super helpful to know. So I will be adding those in to the pre-recorded. Okay, how are you guys doing? It looks good.
You have to say that.
I don't. Yeah, very nice.
So he's doing a girl's bike, huh?
Yeah.
Nice and pink. Trying to remember, Keenan, what color was your mountain bike that was crashed? Your nice one.
The Schwinn?
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a road bike.
Oh,
So there's difference. A mountain bike has
Sorry.
like real heavy tread.
excuse me. Sorry about that.
I understand. It's fine. Anyway, it was a maroon.
Ooh.
Yes, it even had like the hook handles.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Those
mean?
are intense.
Yeah. The only thing it didn't have was clip-in pedals. because I wasn't that intense, and I only rode it like 4 times.
I don't know what that means. I think my bike was white and pink when I was little.
When I was little, I had a red one and a blue one. The blue one I hit a tree whilst riding.
You had 2 bikes?
Well, no. That one was broken after the tree incident. The other one, I don't know what happened to it.
Your parents probably still have it.
Probably. I doubt it.
Gosh, this fly. We should name this fly. He wants to paint with us. I think Frederick is what we named the last one.
Frederick was the last one. And then there were 2, so I named them Fred and Rick because Frederick.
Ooh, genius.
Right. Let's name it Shar.
Shar?
Shar.
Perfect. Shar, let us work here. Debbie said she's painting her bike purple, which goes great with Halloween. That is. Sarah said, should we worry about shading on the edges to make the bike frame look rounded? If you want to do that, Sarah, that's exactly how I would do it. So in order to make something feel round and have form, you usually have a darker value on the side and then a highlight in the middle. I didn't do that with this bike because our frame is so thin. It would be kind of difficult to achieve that type of value range in such a small, like thin area. But if you feel up to the challenge of trying to go for it, then absolutely. So if I were to do that, like on this, you would do, the careful thing that you want to be aware of is you don't want it to feel outlined. So that's why I decided not to focus on it, because it really easy can just look like a dark outline and not a value change. And probably if you have some sort of, like if you have bleed proof white or something that you can do highlights on the bike, that would also help with making it dimensional. Okay, so we are about ready to move on to step 2. And we are going to paint our tires and this little silver thing that holds our pedals. But those are black, and we don't have black, but that's okay because you can totally mix colors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start off with complementary colors. Now, if you don't understand how to mix colors or what colors mix well with other colors, we sell a little color wheel. It's super helpful to have. It just kind of breaks it down for you. And complementary colors are just what's across from each other on the color wheel. And if you mix them together, they usually make brown or gray or muddy colors. So it's really important while you're mixing to understand what colors are the complement to get a good brown or a good black. So to mix my black, I'm going to start with this fuchsia. And then I'm going to grab some green, and I'm just going to mix that together and just see what that makes. So that makes like a nice brown. But I want to go for a darker color that's closer to black. So I'm going to grab some blue and put that in there and see what that does. Okay, that made it darker, but that's clearly green. So then this is where color theory is really good to know. So the opposite of green is red. We don't have red, but we have fuchsia, which can act as our red. So I'm going to grab fuchsia, and I'm going to start mixing that in there. And now you can see that now I'm getting a gray green, which is sometimes that's just fine. That's enough to communicate. There we go. I did one more swipe of fuchsia, and now I have a pretty dark black. So I'm going to mix some for you if that's okay, if you don't mind me mixing on your palette.
Back tire first?
Yeah, I'll do the back tire first.
Sweet.
Now, because we're mixing this color, all of the colors are going to be slightly different from each other, and that is okay. That's the beauty of painting and art, is it's now yours. So, okay, so I have my dark value that's going to act as my black. And I'm just going to go in and start painting my tires. Again, I just want to say that tires are round and it's really hard to get perfect circles that are like perfectly, not straight, but circle. So just know that a couple of them little parts might be a little bit wonky here and there, and that's okay.
A simple solution to the fly problems we've been having
Yeah.
would be a fly swatter.
Oh.
How do we not have it?
I don't know.
Seems like we have flies all the time.
I
but we don't
know.
have the fly swatter.
It's because we're right, that back door is right there, and it's,
Right next to the dumpsters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those flies like to creep in whenever we open that back door.
There have been a couple of questions about who our guests are
Oh, yes.
tonight. Again,
Gail. Gail's on my left.
yeah.
Worthy is here on my right. And you won what did you win?
It was a fundraiser.
Uh-huh.
He bid on a
Cool.
trip to here.
From Utah.
Yeah, we just didn't know this was part of it, but
It's,
this is a bonus.
This is a bonus. Yeah, so we're a fairly new store. We started in January of 2018, so just a little over a year and a half old. And then our store opened up last September, so it's been a year. A year with this birthday bash is how long we've been. We opened up birthday bash week.
Get excited and like sell hot dogs or something as a celebration?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Will you buy the hot dogs with your own money and then cook them for us? No.
I don't think so.
That's exciting for everybody else but you.
Yeah. And again, I'm still using my round 6 to paint these tires, but these are pretty thin areas that we're painting, so if you feel better with your round 2, there's nothing wrong with that.
LaVoice Ewing says, today's my birthday and I am painting.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Good job. Taylor asked me if I started to get the baby's room ready. I will admit to you, Taylor, that I have bought nary a thing for this child. Actually, that's not true. There was an amazing sale on diapers on Amazon, and I got a whole box for like $2.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. That's the only thing I've bought.
I was going to say, this baby boy's clothing options, if
Yes.
you don't buy anything, are going to be very on the girl side. If you just do hand-me-downs.
That is true. I have
Which I think would be really funny.
I have 2 older daughters,
Yes.
but actually,
Just look at people, oh, she's so cute. It's a boy. Why are you confused?
I don't think I actually kept any of I don't have any baby clothes for my girls. I think I gave it all away except for like their blessing dresses.
Oh.
That's all I have. So I'm not even prepared in that way.
I think we have those, maybe, but I'm not sure where.
I definitely need to get on it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Eleanor is starting to just have really long legs out of nowhere, so like all of her pants are high waters.
Oh, Eleanor? Gosh,
Yes.
my girls are like that too.
Yeah.
My daughter Ella, who's 7, she has a really long torso. So whenever I buy her like overalls or rompers, it's like a problem because they're super short on her. And I'm like, well, you have such a long torso.
Yeah.
She outgrows it like that.
That's awesome.
Her goal is to be as tall as Misty. She loves how tall Misty is. Misty is our friend, and she's like 6'1".
Misty's taller than me.
Yeah, Misty's really tall, and she's
Yeah.
like, Mom, I want to be as tall as Misty one day. I'm like, if you're my daughter, I don't know if that's a reality
Good
for
luck.
you. But
Eat your vitamins.
yeah.
I think Misty's a freak of nature.
Well, Misty grew 3 inches during her pregnancy,
Yeah.
which is not common.
Yeah, not common at all.
Yeah. And amazing, and I've never heard of that before, ever.
I wish I grew as much as Misty grew.
Me too. I would then be average height.
Yeah.
And if you want your wheels to be darker, if you're painting them and they're not coming out as dark as you want, you can always do another layer right on top of them. So don't stress about that if they're a little bit lighter. Just make sure you pick up a good amount of paint, and I can always mix some more too. Sabrina says her wheels are green. Sabrina, mix in some fuchsia to your green, and that will tone down your green.
That just means she was burning out in tall grass.
There we go.
There was a question, what is Birthday Bash?
Oh, okay, so we come from a little town in Hamilton, Missouri. Hamilton, Missouri is also known as Quilt Town, USA.
Yes.
It has 14 quilt stores, which if you saw the main street, you would be impressed that there are 14 stores in general. It's very small.
There's one stoplight.
And it doesn't even turn to green, it's just blinking red all the time.
It's essentially a stop sign. It's a
This-
four-way stop.
That's exactly what it is. So anyways, but this town was kind of revitalized from the Missouri Star Quilt Company that started here about 10 years ago, which is why this town is now filled with quilt shops. So Birthday Bash is celebrating the anniversary, the birth of Missouri Star Quilt Company. So last year it was their 10-year anniversary. That's when we first opened our storefront. And this year it's 11 years, and they're doing a Hawaiian-themed Birthday Bash. Luau, I'm fairly sure.
I was going to ask if there's going to be a hog.
Like on a spit, like roasting?
No, Kalua Pig Underground.
Yes.
Well, that sounds delicious too.
You're like, roasted pig,
Yeah.
I'm just in.
I mean,
I don't know what they're gonna do. But yeah, it's just fun little, how many days is it? I think it's like 3 days. Is that right?
I don't know anything about Birthday Bash.
Do you know how long Birthday Bash is?
No.
I don't know.
Gail?
Gail, come on.
His birthday's next week. I thought we were going to have a big bash for that.
I think it's about 3 days, and it's just a celebration, and they have fun contests, and a lot of people come to it, apparently. Come from all over.
If lines are bleeding a little bit, what can be done to fix that, to remedy the bleeding of lines?
So, what you can do to help with the bleeding of lines. I have noticed that you can try and rework the edge to tighten the edge up. So if it bled, wait for it to dry and then you can sharpen it. Or if it's just every brush stroke you make, it's kind of bleeding out and getting a fuzzy edge, put the water down first. So do a light wash of water, so just a little bit of water, and then drop color into it, and that will keep the edge hard. It won't fuzz out. So you can try those things. Okay, now to do my silver petal, I'm just going to add water to my black mixture to make it a light gray. Now, of course, there are going to be undertones of other colors since we mixed this black. So in my reference photo, it had undertones of pink and purple. This one's pretty neutral actually, but yours might have undertones of green. They're all going to be slightly different, but that's okay. And you're just going to fill in this little silver part where the petal comes out of. Here, yeah, there you go. You can just rinse that. Oh, sorry. Take your paper towel. There you go. So I'm going to rinse So if you want to get color off you just rinse your brush and then use your paper towel and then pick up your gray. And that's good to go when you are ready.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're about ready to move on to step 3. We are just going to do the brown little bits here, and we're just going to use honey brown for that. So we have a nice brown going on already. So I'm just going to grab honey brown. And then what I like to do to kind of get 2 different tones is I like to do a swish of honey brown and then mix it in with like this dark color that I have going, because then I'll get like a nice deep brown. So I have 2 browns that I can work with. So for this nice deep brown, I'm going to do the bottom of my seat. You can see I put in a little shadow line. And then I'll rinse, and for the top of my seat, I'll just use straight honey brown. So that way we just get a little bit of form on that seat on the bike. The bottom is going to be slightly shadowed.
Billy Anderson asked how close we are to St. Joe.
We are about 50 minutes away from St. Joe.
It's not bad.
It's not too bad.
Straight east from St. Joe
Yeah.
on 36. You never have to turn till you get to Hamilton.
No, you just go straight.
It's one of the most boring drives I've ever been on.
That
and I-80 in Nebraska.
I do make the trek to St. Joe when I want some good pizza, though. They have a great pizza place. Yep. Very nice. Yep. Okay, and then when you get to your basket, just using honey brown. If you want to leave a little like white space in between where like the edge is and then where the bottom of the basket is, you can do that. There's like a lip on the basket. Now, I didn't complete the outline here because leaves are going to be kind of coming over the edge of my basket. If you want to fill your basket, you can. Just be aware that like watercolor, because it's transparent, it's kind of hard to layer. So if you want your leaves or your flowers to show up going over the edge of the basket, you need to leave like space for that to happen, or else the flowers won't show up against the brownness of the basket. So that's why I left little chunks there. But of course, this is your painting. You guys can do whatever you want. Maybe you don't want things coming over the edge. Maybe you want to put apples in there. I went apple picking this last weekend. It was great. I made apple cake. It was
I often think
amazing.
apples when I think of baskets.
Perfect.
Because you're carrying a basket of apples.
It makes sense. Thank you. Thanks
You're
for telling me that,
welcome.
Keenan.
Donna said, I smeared black under the tire. Can I add a shadow under the tire?
Oh,
like we did on the truck
absolutely.
and bus?
Let me show you guys how to do that. Let's say you're painting your tire.
Like this.
Oh yeah, that works perfect. Let's say you're painting your tire and it just like swoops off and you're like, dang, now my tire's like smeared and funky. What do I do? Easy peasy. Just take some water, use the black that's already there for your tire, kind of work it back and forth, and put a little bit of shadow
Boom, shadow.
right there. Yeah, no problem. If you want to, if you didn't do this on yours, if you didn't smear yours but you like the shadow, add a shadow. It grounds your subject. So, very nice. And then you can't even tell that your tire smeared. Now, if you do add a shadow and you still want to do the lettering at the bottom, please make sure your shadow is completely dry before you attempt the lettering, or else that lettering will smear and bleed all over. So you want to make sure that's nice and dry. Okay. Looks good. Ooh, I like that brown you got on your seat.
I need to borrow some of your gray for my.
Oh, here. Let me grab some for you.
borrow?
Well,
You can have it.
okay.
Okay.
We don't have a very strong return policy for used paint.
There you go. Okay. Now we do the part that's probably like the last part that's going to take a little bit more time, and that's we're just going to do the flowers and the leaves in our basket. So think back to our warm-ups of when we were practicing the shapes of our leaves and the shapes of our flowers. Keenan will do a close-up on the basket so you guys can see what I am doing. Tell me when you're ready to go. I won't start until... So I'll just start off with grabbing some green for my leaves.
Sorry, I couldn't get any closer.
Is it on it?
It's on it.
Cool.
It might be a little shaky.
For a second.
Let me switch to the basket.
Okay. I'll wait. I won't start yet.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm sweating.
Keenan, good job. Your job's really
I'm gonna
hard.
need a snack.
One day we'll pay you for all this hard work.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say. I can't buy hot dogs for birthday bash because I haven't been paid since March.
Shh, don't worry about it. It's coming. It's coming. Okay. So I'm just going to start off with like a little leaf kind of branching this way. So I like to do my top leaf first so I know then how high it goes. And then I'm going to do my stem and then just leaves coming off of it. And I switched to my smaller brush since I'm working in a smaller area with smaller little pieces. Now you don't have to follow the same composition as the flowers in my basket. You can absolutely add your own, or maybe you want to do all leaves, or I don't know. It's limitless how many things we can do inside of our basket. I'm going to get some fresh fuchsia for us for our flowers since we mixed ours all gray.
We did kind of mess it up.
I did.
We did.
We did.
Okay.
We got a little bit messy with our color mixing over here.
Trying to make her black.
Okay, so for my roses, I'm just going to do a little bunch of roses in here. Again, I'm just doing little swirlies. Are these technically sound roses? No.
My older siblings used to give me swirlies when I was a kid.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah.
Like actual ones?
Oh yeah.
That's terrible.
I was the youngest of 9, Sarah. I got abused.
I mean, I was the youngest of 3. Maybe
At
when there's
6, you're gonna get beat up.
like at 6 more kids. I didn't know that people actually did that to other people. That's so
I have
sad.
vivid memories of swirlies.
Wow, are you okay? Do you have a fear of toilets?
No, not really.
No?
So who did you reciprocate on?
He's
I
the
was
youngest.
the youngest. Well, my nieces and nephews got a little roughed up occasionally.
So I'm just putting little sprigs, is that a word? Yes, sprigs of leaves around my roses.
I think
Dakota said yes, so
I'm gonna
I'm
Google
trusting her.
sprig because I feel like it's.
It's true, it's a word.
No, it is true. I agree, but I want
You want to know the exact
small
definition?
stem bearing leaves or flowers taken from a bush or plant.
Is that exactly what I'm
That's
describing?
exactly what you said. I wasn't fighting.
Keenan's like, I never said you were
I haven't
wrong.
lost a lunch bet in weeks.
Okay, beautiful. And now I'm just going to do these little kind of bushy roses that not roses, but like bushy flowers that I did in the warm-ups where they're just kind of loose. It's really just color. There's not specific flowers that we're doing. And if you want to like differentiate your colors, you can mix your fuchsia in with a little bit of blue and you'll get different purples depending on how much blue you mix in. So you can start adding those. So I'm just trying to make my basket feel full of flowers and color. Sorry, my arm's reaching across for my palette. And then if you want to do little lavender sprigs, you can. The lavenders on your warm-ups were beautiful. Very delicate and thin. Worthy, I was talking to you. They were nice.
Billy Anderson, the one who asked us how close we were to St. Joe, said, that is close, cool. I wish I was there visiting relatives because I'd be there to visit you. But why visit relatives when we're here? I mean, really.
Why don't you just come to Hamilton to see us and then go
she's
see
only
the relatives?
she's only in Washington State, so been there, done that. That's not that bad.
Don't your parents live in Washington?
Yes.
Yeah.
My parents and grandparents, several cousins, a sister. It's a good state.
So I'm just adding things on top of it to make it feel like there's just flowers and leaves coming out of it like crazy. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm seeing my hands moving as on the close-up camera.
There's not really anything to do about it.
There's a lot of action going on.
A different palette that's on
That
the
side?
opposite side. But
Yeah, actually, I'll just use this one. That makes way more sense.
I don't know why I didn't think of that beforehand.
Me neither. It's fine.
It's our first time. We've never had two palettes on the same table.
Never. We don't even know what's going on, really.
Yeah. What is watercolor?
What is
really?
watercolor? What are we doing?
Who's Let's Make Art?
Okay. Oh, Cassie says she's having a hard time with the connection. I don't know if it's our connection because I don't see it buffering on our end.
Our quality of uploading is good.
Okay, so then if your video keeps on freezing, then it probably is your connection. And
Yep.
I'm sorry to say that. But
Refresh, pause, or reset your router.
yeah,
Those are your
refresh,
options.
unplug and plug back in
Yep.
is my go-to for any
Have
technical
you tried
problems.
turning off and turning it back on?
But if it's too frustrating and you just can't handle it, that's fine. This we leave up, so you can absolutely paint another time. And once it's up and recorded, then you can like buffer it when it's not going live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. So, my basket feels pretty full. You can keep working on it, and we're about to go to our very last step. Now, our very last step is just putting the spokes in on our wheels and the lettering. So, if you're ready to move on, you can go to that. I'm going to start going to that. And I'm still going to be using my round 2. Try and get like a black color. Remember the complements as you're mixing to get the right color. And with watercolors, if you're not familiar with them, and especially this kind of palette butcher tray, you can reconstitute them. So once they dry, just add water to them and they perk right back up. Okay, so I'm getting my dark color. And when you do spokes, you want them to just be as thin as possible. So just go back to how we did our thin lines in our warm-up. You're gonna do a vertical hold, so you're right on the tip of your paintbrush, and you are just gonna do light pressure. Now, I have noticed that if you struggle with shaky lines, if you do it faster, you tend to get a smoother line. So if I'm trying to do this really, really slow and follow the tracing exactly, it's more likely that my hand is going to shake. But if I'm just like, okay, I know it's scary to paint really fast, but I'm just gonna do it, and I just like whoosh, then my line will be a lot smoother. So give that a shot. And if you want to practice on your warm-up sheet before you do it on your actual painting, that's totally fine. Give it a try. Also, you might notice for you, it's a lot easier to do thin lines going horizontal or going vertical, up or down. Again, there's no right or wrong way, so just figure out what way feels like the most comfortable for you and paint that way. For me, it's a lot easier to do horizontal from left to right. So I'll just turn my paper as I go.
Kept that wheel in there the whole time.
Did I?
Yeah, nice.
Talent. Thank you. So if you need to turn it all the way around, that's totally fine. You do what you got to do.
Billy's asking what part of Washington that my family's from, I assume. Because Billy and I go way back. We're friends now.
Obviously, Billy's a good friend of yours.
Yeah. I think it's the northwest. It's I think it's northwest of Seattle. So it's up Bremerton, Paulsbo, Kingston, Indianola, that area.
She'll know all of that.
Yeah, perfect.
My family does.
Nailed it. Now we can't see it.
Sarah asked if there's a better type of brush to use on these spokes. Okay, so if you guys have trouble getting thin lines, there are paintbrushes called liners. Now, liners are really long, very thin brushes. So rounds tend to, so these are round paintbrushes. They tend to have a wider bottom and a narrow top, and that gives you versatility in your thickness of your brush stroke. Liners have the same thickness all the way through, so it's much easier to keep a thinner line. Yeah, Keenan brought one up.
My bike looks like the one you wrecked.
It was my friend, it wasn't.
I don't think it looks like it was in a crash. I don't see any frame bending going on. So here is a liner. Oh, that had a lot of paint in it. Can they see that? Is this on the close-up, Keenan?
You bring it down by the spokes.
Here?
The gear where the pedal is.
Here?
Right there, perfect.
So as you can, this one got bent. It must have been left in the water cup, but oh, that's also, don't leave your paintbrushes in water cups because they will bend the bristles. Usually they're straight, and you can see it's the same thickness and it's long. So you will be able to get thin lines from that and go a longer time. So, and we have those on our website, just letsmakeart.com. If you want, if you notice yourself really struggling with thin lines, they're a great little paintbrush to do. They're really good for whiskers and stuff on animals also. That's what I use liners for. Okay. Now, if you want to do your lettering, I'm just going to use my round 2 for that. You can follow the outline that's on your printout, or you can just freehand your own, or maybe you don't like lettering and you don't want to put it. That's okay. Keenan, should I move mine up so they can see the lettering?
Do you want it close up?
Yeah, let's do a close-up on this.
Do you want to move it down to the left? Right there.
Good. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so I'm just following it. Now, if lettering is something that you want to get better at doing, brush lettering, we have a fabulous artist, Nicole, who teaches how to do hand lettering. So that's on our YouTube channel already, those videos. So if that's something you guys want to start practicing, she's finishing up her second quarter, and it's all about using paintbrushes for lettering. So that's perfect for any of you guys who already have these painting supplies and you want to just learn a new skill.
And if you're a lefty and you think, nah, I can't do that, we can teach you how to be a lefty.
Teach you how to be a lefty?
Teach you how to write with left skills.
Nicole actually started to learn left-handed so she can better teach left-handed
That's much.
people
That's
how to
phrased
letter.
much better than how I phrased it.
Yes.
Pedal.
Oh, the pedal. You're right. I forgot my pedal.
Nancy caught it.
Man, me and Gail, we're just not on top of it, are we? Both of us didn't paint
No,
that pedal.
How did I miss that?
Because I didn't do it. I didn't tell you guys to do
Right
it. You can use brown, the same brown that you use for the bars, or you can use gray. I feel like pedals are different colors. Right? Sure. Do whatever you want.
Depending on how old they are and
Yeah.
what brand.
Some of them might have reflectors.
Some might have dirt on them.
Yes.
Or blood.
Or blood.
Because they could catch a shin. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
That's the
is
worst.
that not the worst thing in the world?
When, yeah, your shin gets caught on that. And
I feel like that's on par with stepping on like a Lego, like just so
Oh,
much
yeah.
pain. Well, that took about 3 seconds to fill in that pedal, so
Nice.
good
Well
job, you
done.
guys.
That's a new record. It's got to be.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys just a couple seconds to finish up, and then we're gonna hold them up for our people to see. But, oh, one thing. So if you painted your flowers in the basket and your handlebar doesn't go all the way to where the leaves are, just continue your handlebar down to where those leaves meet, just wherever that is. We want it to feel connected. And then there's a little, I didn't include it in the outline and that was my bad, but there's a little rod that's gonna go here to the basket. So just connect the basket to the frame somehow. You can even do it right in the front if you just want to do it right across.
Can you go over that bar again one more time? Because I did a close-up.
Right
so you
here at
just
the
see it.
top?
Yep.
Yeah, so I have an outline for how far the handlebar should go, but if your plants don't meet that handlebar and there's a gap, just continue your handlebar down to wherever your plants are, and that way you don't have a gap. And then wherever, if you want to connect your basket to your frame, you can do it right in the front. You can do a little loop-de-loop like I did right here. We just want to make sure those are connected. And I'm going to, I didn't do my little thin line, just like that. That's it. That's all we got to do. Easy peasy, we finished.
Perfect.
Okay,
My spokes are not,
I think they're great.
they'll do, but
They will do.
yeah.
They'll do great.
They'll have to do.
I think your black tires are nice and dark. Mine weren't able to get that
Oh,
dark.
I think you did.
That's nice.
Oh, I forgot my lettering. Okay, anyway.
It's okay. We'll hold it up, and if you want to finish, you can. Keenan is going to. Okay, we show ours at the end because this
Yes.
is the best part.
And we can hold it in front of our face.
If you want to.
If you want to hide your face,
If you want to hide your
Gail,
face, this is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, I'm switching. All right, so we have Gail's here. Beautiful bicycle. Let me see if I can get a little close up. There it is. Nice golden basket. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Gail. And to Gail's right, we have Sarah. There it is.
Wait,
Beautiful.
let me do that. Let me do it.
Oh, Sarah. Oh,
Good.
a nice shadow. Very good. And to Sarah's right, we have Worthy. Oh, he went with a pink bike.
Yeah, look at his flowers. Look how pretty those are.
Let me try and zoom in on those flowers.
Okay. Very delicate.
It's real grainy, but you can see that it's great. Not your painting, not your painting, the camera. Worthy, it's great painting. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Okay, thank
Perfect.
you guys so much for painting
Thank
with me.
you.
It's so scary doing something new, and you guys did great. So thank you for that. If you painted this with us, please share it. That's the best part, is seeing how other people approach the same projects, and we can learn from each other. Even if we're on different stages in our watercolor skill, you can absolutely learn from each other. So if you're on Instagram, you can go ahead and tag us. Let's Go Make Art is our tag if you tag us, or hashtag Let's Make Art. If you're on Facebook, We have a page that is separate from our business page called Let's Make Art Watercolor. Very supportive community. The whole point of it is really just to post your artwork and what you're painting so other people can see it, and you guys can just see the fun projects. And then that's really where you can get some fun ideas, because gosh, those people are so creative in there. And I have been seeing all different versions of this bike all week. We have balloons, there's been streamers, there's been animals. There was one, a sock monkey was in the back.
The other thing, everyone's
So great.
super helpful.
Super helpful, very supportive. So if you're not ready, maybe posting your beginnings of your watercolors to your personal Instagram page or whatever, but you want to start posting them just to get used to it, that Facebook community is a great place to start. So that is called Let's Make Art Watercolor. We will be releasing our rustic doorway tutorial, so keep an eye out for that. And I think that's all I got to say, right?
That should be it.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for joining me. Keenan, you did awesome.
Thank you.
Dakota, we didn't introduce you, but she's here in the back. She's great. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.